Right, good evening, people. My name is JR and I am the FRgooner. I'm joined there by Gavs. How you, Gavs? You good today?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, man. Better times, I must
Mm.
say, you know. I think the last time I spoke to you, it was all doom and gloom, wasn't it?
Oh, mate. I think Rocky was on a rampage. I used to think I was the bad one. I spoke out too much how I felt, maybe too much, you know. But he was on a mad one that day. But we were all in the same boat. We all
Yeah.
felt, we all just projecting different ways. But yeah, that time was crazy, man.
Yeah, it was bad times, but we move on to better times. You know, we
Mm.
played in our last 8 games. I think we've won six, drawn
Yeah.
two. So that's good. That's good results, to be fair. What do you think's changed? Is it, or has anything changed? You know?
It's a difficult one. I think consistency is we're not there with it yet, but I think we're starting to gel. If that makes sense, I think
Mm,
there's a few things I have noticed about Arteta. Like obviously, I've not always been his biggest fan, but the most important thing is the club more than any kind of manager. So if people turn things around, then that's the all we want, isn't it? But
mm.
me and you and other people used to question like a lot of the lineups, the strategy. There wasn't. It just didn't seem to be the right people in the right positions, and it showed on the pitch. But recently, I think he's sort of figured out what works and what doesn't, and where to go with players. And I think it's starting to show on the pitch, and you can't knock it really. I'm actually quite excited about it. I don't go into a game at the moment feeling like we're going to get battered.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a difficult one, but the signs are there. It's just it's just consistency. It's can we keep this up? Like we've beaten Burnley and Norwich. We've I thought Aston Villa was going to be a tough one, more
Yeah,
than it
so did
was to
I.
be fair. Good team, but we show we can do it because we were always going to turn up against Spurs. You expect it, but
Yeah.
teams like Aston Villa were the first, I guess, next level up compared to like Burnley and Norwich, and I think yeah, we passed the test there, so it's been encouraging. I'm not so much like one sided now. I'm starting to see the light a little bit.
You're starting to believe in the process. I can see it in your eyes,
Mm.
mate. Oh, is that too far? Is that too far?
I don't think it's too far. I'm happy to be feeling like there might be a process. I think
Mm.
we just need to see it continue. It's
Yeah, a
continuation, it's
level of
consistency.
consistency.
It's yeah, that's what it is for me. But if something's working, you can't be just moaning about it and being negative. It's this is what we want. If Arteta can turn it around, and so be it.
No, 100%. I mean, for me with Arteta, I think what is clear is he's learning on the job.
Mm.
But he's learning probably the hard way fast, you know.
Yeah,
Obviously we got the whooping by Man City. He's learning things that are not working. I think we've definitely been consistent in after the Man City match, to be fair, in terms of the way we defended. I thought we were solid. I think in the
mm.
last 8 we've only conceded 4 goals. I think one of the
Uh,
issues that we did have was scoring goals. But what has been clear to see is in the last couple matches, you know, against Aston Villa and Leeds United, is that we can score goals, you know,
yeah,
and we can create, and also we can play good football, because I think that's been missing. Before the Aston Villa match, yes, okay, we had the Tottenham match, but like you said, we always knew we were going to turn up for that match. We're at home
yeah.
as well. But in terms of the performance, it hasn't been great, to be quite honest, especially going forward. I think we turned up for the first 15 minutes in a lot of these matches and then went missing. But what's been great is we've started to turn up. I mean, let's touch upon the Leeds United match, Carabao Cup. Obviously, a 2-0 victory. Um,
Yeah.
Decent performance as well. We put the second string out. It was good for a few of them to get a game, notably Martinelli. The likes of Pepe as well, to get a few minutes out there. Let me ask you the first question: does the
Mm.
Carabao Cup, does it mean anything to you? Would you want us to win it, or
I would
does it
say
not
so.
mean anything to you?
I think so. I think I mentioned it a few weeks ago, but for me, like the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, for me, that's our Champions League in Europa for this season. That's all we've got. It's like we want to be pushing towards like qualification for these things, but it is still a long road ahead. I'm honestly, if we don't get qualification for that, I'm not going to be like devastated. It'll be annoying, but I just want to see that consistency. I want to see that progression under Arteta, and with this young squad now, I want to see how far we can go with it. But we've got no excuse really not to go for these cups. I think they are important. It's going to, like the Leeds match, it gave the opportunity to the younger ones as well. So it's crucial to let them flourish as well, and give them the space to do that. I think they're important. I think for sure. That's all we're going to have really. And I mean, for me personally, yesterday, Maitland-Niles, for me, he was. I think he was the man in match. If I'm totally honest.
Yeah.
I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah.
He's never had much luck recently, has he? He almost had to like beg to stay in the team or go. And,
Yeah.
I thought he was fantastic on the turn. He was just bossing the midfield, and I think it's quite important. I mean, how do you feel about the cups?
Do you know what? I think in terms of the Carabao Cup, for me, as I understand it, it gets us into the Europa Conference League. And that for me was a bit like, if I'm honest, I don't really want to be in that cup or whatever it is. But what it does allow Arsenal to do is play, like you said, some of the fringe players, some of the young players coming through as well, give them opportunity. Before Europa was an opportunity to, in the early stages, was an opportunity to play some of the young players, some of the fringe players as well. We're not there no more. So we need to give them the opportunity to stay fresh, get a run. And I think it's important for that reason. FA Cup, obviously, I'd love to win the FA Cup. I think we've been good in the FA Cup for a number of years now. We've been consistent with that. Obviously, Arteta's shown that as well. So definitely want to do well in the FA Cup. I would like to do well in both, to be fair. And it gives us an opportunity to try things out. Like I said, Arteta seems like a manager at the moment who's still learning on the job. So it's an opportunity to try things out, to be fair. I mean, you mentioned Maitland-Niles having a good match. Obviously, Nketiah got man of the match. Would you give Nketiah another chance? And is he ahead of? What does that answer that question? But also as well, what does it mean for Balogun? What would you do with Balogun? Obviously, I kind of felt that Balogun was ahead of Nketiah, and Nketiah was actually leaving, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
And we've seen a few matches from Balogun in the under-23s, but we haven't really seen him, apart from the Brentford match, in the first team or in the cup matches, really. So how do you feel about, would you give Nketiah a chance first, and how do you feel about Balogun and the opportunity he's been given at the moment?
Yeah, that's a great question, because it's a funny one, because there was such a big ruckus about Balogun potentially leaving. People going mad, so we can't lose this kid. Go cheap and then become something else and great. But then nothing's really happened since. But and on the flip of that, Nketiah, every time he does play, he usually scores.
Yeah.
It's like, he flourished at Leeds on loan. It's kind of like, what else does he need to do? He does score when he comes on. He does, play well. It's almost like a little bit me wants, because I mean, we'll touch upon this anyway, but the whole Lacazette maybe staying for another year. It's almost like it'd be interesting for him to get like a 1 year extension and sort of help these, players flourish as well. But I don't know. It's such a tough one, isn't it? But maybe this is the right time for them to sort of get more chances, because we don't have, like we were talking about the cups, this is the more them to prove their worth. Like the squad we have for the starting lineup now, our main squad, like that can't really change that much at the moment. Like that's going to have to be our main. We can't really change it. So all these cups and things like that, that's going to be the chance for Balogun, for Nketiah to really, and Martinelli, all these sort of players to really, test themselves and show Arteta and say, hey, come on. I think there's more chances this season than there would have been last season to do that. I don't know. It's a really tough one with these two.
I mean,
like
in
you said, we
January,
haven't really seen enough of Balogun to be able to really like do a versus
yeah, would you put him out? Obviously, January transfer window is coming up. Would you put Balogun out on loan, or would you still keep him on 23s?
I think I'd put him on loan if I'm totally honest, just because I think he needs more the higher level. Do you know what I mean? He needs to
Yeah,
be, because it worked wonders for Nketiah. It's done great for other players as well. You can see how Saliba's doing right now. We all know that. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a minute.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's a tough one. But I guess it's also going back to Nketiah. Like he's going to have to, not so much Arteta's going to have to come to decision. He's almost going to have a talk with himself soon and say, how long do I do this for? Do I just say I think it's best I leave, or continue to want to play for Arsenal and hope? But it's an interesting one because obviously Aubameyang, Lacazette, etc. At some point in the near future, we're going to be looking for new recruits. It's not going to be long before they're gone.
Yeah,
But then you could say, well, would they be enough to step up? Probably not. To lead
yeah,
the
yeah.
line.
Well, you talking about Balogun and Nketiah to step up?
Yeah, but is that so? It's like with Reece Nelson. Like I know me and Rocky talked about it before, and it's like how long do we give these players that could potentially
Yeah,
be much better?
yeah.
Is that actual level where they actually are going to stay, and we just have to kind of admit it. Same with Nketiah and Balogun. Is that maybe where they're going to be? Whereas Saka and Emil Smith Rowe just straight away,
Yeah,
went
you
into
could
that
see the
mode, and
different
they
talent.
progressed, and you see the difference. So it's a real hard one because we can't let sentiment get in there too much. Yes, they're young, and you want to see these kids do well, but how long? There's got to be a cut-off point. But
Yeah,
it's tough. It's tough because they're good kids.
yeah. No, definitely. I mean, for me personally, I Balogun, I definitely feel, he's shown glimpses of a player in the under 23s, but obviously he needs to get that step up, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
And therefore I would loan him out, sorry, in the January window, given that opportunity just to play regular football at a higher level. Nketiah, he's proven he's a goal scorer. And I think what I saw yesterday, he's trying to add more to his game as well. Before he seemed like the target man in the box, now he's trying to be less greedy, so to speak, play other people in, which is always good. So he's showing growth. And he's scoring at a decent level as well. That Leeds team are no fools. So it was good that he got that opportunity, and it's good that he took it as well. And it was a good goal. He was a bit lucky towards, at the end.
yeah.
But
Well, I mean, that's what happens in football. It's fine,
that's what I'm saying,
If
So
he didn't make that chip in the first place, he wouldn't even got to that point. So you have to give him credit for using his brain and
yeah,
doing
no,
that. So fair
definitely.
play to him.
Definitely. Fair play also to I don't know if you caught it, Leno as well. I don't know if
Mm,
you saw that. It was Leno that actually got the long ball out there um towards Nketiah. And then obviously Nketiah done the rest. Um so fair play, because before we I know myself, I've been a bit, maybe not harsh is not the word, but I've been a bit disappointed in um the way that Leno was playing it out from the back.
yeah,
We've seen a difference, and I'm going to touch upon that later in terms of what Ramsdale can do in terms of playing it out from the back. But Leno was getting a long ball out there. He was looking for an Arsenal player. He seemed a lot more confident in what he was trying to do, and you can also see that the impact and influence of having someone like Ramsdale giving him competition, of how he's tried to step his game up in terms of distributing the ball.
yeah,
Before that, he was trying to play out from the back, and it makes you wonder, why the hell were you doing those short passes that you couldn't do? Like,
yeah.
just, but it's all good. It's positive that he's trying something different, which is good. What did you think of Martinelli's performance yesterday?
Mm, I find it hard to judge Martinelli at the moment. He just hasn't had that game time, has he? But like,
Mm,
I really want him to do well. I think he's a great player, but I think his first touch was pretty damn terrible for most of the
mm,
game, to be honest. But
mm,
the ideas, where he wanted to go with it, it was all there. You can see his football brain working. It just wasn't coming off. And is that down to like lack of games and fitness? And I don't know. I just worry about him sometimes because every time he gets kicked, he looks like he's done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh no, not again. But he's another one I would maybe even consider maybe for a loan. I don't know how you feel about that, but
Yeah, no,
I don't know
definitely.
how much he's going to figure in the starting lineup the way they're playing right now. And like we said, there are the cups, but I think he needs more game time because his first touch. Always the way when you haven't been playing regularly, and when you have been playing regularly, your first touch is much better. Your thought process is better. So I don't know, but I don't know how you feel about him potentially going on loan.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't put him on loan. What I think Arteta needs to give him more of an opportunity in terms of the Premiership matches. So
Mm,
in the last few matches, he's been getting 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Not really enough time for anyone to prove himself.
yeah,
Um, so I would give him 20 minutes here and there, 25 minutes towards the end, maybe. Give him a chance to run about. There's certain
mm,
there's certain opposition as well where Martinelli can be used as a weapon, because he's pacey, he's direct in his run as well. So he's a player that we can bring on towards the end with tired legs. He
yeah,
is a weapon. So I think he needs to get more. I definitely agree. I think he needs more game time, but I think that's down to Arteta to give him that opportunity. He did
yeah,
look rusty yesterday, but let's be fair. The guy's not really got much matches under his
no,
belt this season or much minutes at all. Um, so I think he needs that opportunity, and I think he can do that. He's proven in the Premiership already. He's done it
yeah.
already. He needs that confidence to get that goal. Understand that he does have a place in the team, and I think he will thrive.
Hope so.
But yeah, just give him more game time in those league matches. To be fair, for me personally. The final guy I want to touch upon in from the Leeds match, obviously you got an opportunity, was Pepe. Um, let me ask you a question first. If at the end of the season we could get 35 million for him, would you take it, or would you give him another opportunity to kind of prove himself the following season?
I would take it. Um, I think he's had enough time to settle now. If I'm totally honest, I feel bad for him because the price tag is so big. Like
Yeah,
he didn't ask for that. There is that side of it, but he's had long enough to sort of gel now. And yeah, for 35 million, I think we could get something a bit better. He's so frustrating because he has moments of like magic, and you can see there's a player in there, like,
yeah,
but it's just like Bambi on ice half the time. It's just like I don't know, man. He's just
yeah,
he's you just never know what you're gonna get with him. It can be a bit yeah, at this level, for that price tag and stuff like that. And like I said, I know he didn't ask for that, but you see too many other players doing much better than him in a short amount of time, and I just think,
mm,
I don't know, man. I think it might be time to move on with him.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he's frustrating. I mean, last season I think he was one of our highest scoring players. I think he got 16 goals or something like that.
Yeah,
Um, in all competition. But for me personally, yeah, he's not showing enough to show. Firstly, that he's 72 million. Like you said, it's not his fault that he was given that price tag. Um, but he needs to show more in these opportunities that he's been given. He's definitely not ahead of Saka on that right hand side. So let's stop swapping over Saka. Just keep Saka on that right hand side. Smith Rowe on the left if need be. But yeah, he's, for me personally, he's not showing enough. And if we got 35 million, sadly, at the end of the season, it would be another loss. But I'd probably take it too, unless he kind of bucks up his ideas and kind of shows that he's got a bit more to his game. To be fair,
yeah.
because I said,
I
go
will
on.
say I do find it a bit horrible the way he gets battered in games, like not in the games but by fans. Like, yes, okay, he didn't have a great game yesterday, but like
Mm,
the emphasis is always so much on him, like he's a scapegoat. And it's like, well, look,
yeah,
not everyone has great games, like not everyone's. But El Nene was El Nene, you know. But
mm,
no one's talking about him. But yeah, I do feel that can't help his confidence either. But I'm constantly waiting for him to mess up. But Yeah, I think we do got to take a hit on it. And one thing we do have to, I mean, is exactly what you just said about 35 million. Instead of sort of like a lot of times we have bought these players, realised we've wasted the money, but then we just let them hang on, and we can't get rid of them. And then we get them for like 10 million, they go. We sort of have to cut our losses a lot better this time. But I mean, hopefully transfer window wise, we can be a bit more sensible and just a bit more cutthroat and say, look, he's on the market, let's get rid of him. But it's a shame. I would have liked to see Pepe work, because in the French league he looked great, but it
Yeah.
just proves that it doesn't always work. It doesn't always.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. I mean, to be fair to Elneny as well, I think he had a decent match yesterday, and then for me, he's one of those players that you're not going to get anything spectacular from him, but if you're giving him a
No.
job to do, he does it to the best of his ability. And one thing I'll say about him, he always does try and give 100%.
Oh yeah,
So yeah,
100%.
so it's fair play to him, especially for yesterday as well. I think he had a decent performance, but yeah, let's see Pepe kind of step it up. I mean, one player that we saw has been given the opportunity was Lacazette.
Mm.
Obviously, Arteta kind of changed the tactics, kind of deployed a more 4-4-2, implemented him with Aubameyang. Is that a play that you would try to kind of keep into the team now? Do you think he deserves to be in the fold, or would you revert back to having Aubameyang by himself?
It's a real tough one, because on paper I've always preferred Aubameyang down the middle.
Mm,
Always, I mean, at Dortmund he was the man. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
That is his position, but it's a tough one, because the last few games Lacazette's shown such an energy, and he's almost been like an attacking midfielder more than an actual
mm.
striker, but he's been everywhere. And you think for his age and like his energy levels, because he's not the fastest, and he's been causing so much havoc across the pitch,
Yeah,
and it was rubbing off on the other players. And I thought he was brilliant. He was brilliant against Villa. And yeah, I think he should be in there. You want players to fight for the badge. You want people, players to do all that. And I don't think he should have like a bumper contract or anything. But I would happily, if he takes a good salary, keep him on for another year at least.
yeah.
You know, that's
So
what you
you would
generally
keep
want.
him on for another season? Yeah,
I'd say so. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, obviously it depends what Edu and everyone, Arteta are planning. I don't know where we're going to go with the striker side of things.
Mm,
But on his performances, I don't think you can disagree really in a
yeah,
sense. It'd be different if he wasn't playing well, but he's doing everything. If you think about it, like a player like that, he knows his time is nearly up. If he really wanted to go, I don't think he'd be putting much, an effort in. But he's
yeah.
so passionate. I put that picture up on, what do you call it?
Yeah, stuff.
When Partey scored, and his face, man, he was loving
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
that's what you want, but it rubs off on all the young
yeah,
players. They all, it means a lot. Even when what's his name, Chambers scored, yesterday, it's like he was loving it on the side, and I just think you need that, need that
yeah.
passion, and yeah, I think
It,
he's got a place. For how long? Don't know, but
yeah,
what do you think? Would you keep
yeah.
him
No,
on? Or?
I think he adds a lot to our. I mean, before Lacazette was given the opportunity, we lacked something going forward. I think that was very evident to see.
Mm,
Um, I think, as many have mentioned, Lacazette links up the play, and like you said, he causes havoc. Whether it's causing a foul, um, whether it's just getting stuck in. He makes things happen. Also, as well, I think it was the Crystal Palace match when the crowd were quite quiet. We weren't playing too well, to be fair, and he came on, and I always remember he's with his arms. He was, trying to rally the fans to kind of build that momentum and get them going again. We need that fire.
yeah,
And Aubameyang's, he's in decent form at the moment, but he's not that type of player to kind of rally the crowd, etc., and get the guys going. Lacazette is that guy. So for the
yeah,
fact that he makes things happen, I would definitely be playing him against Leicester. I would give him an opportunity. I thought we played a lot better with that new formation that Arteta tried to implement. So yeah, I'll definitely give him the opportunity. I don't know if I'd give him a new contract. I'm not sure. And I don't think he wants. Do you know what it is? I don't even know if he wants a new contract. I think if I'm at that age and it's towards the end of my career, really and truly, I know that a free transfer allow me to get a bumper wage and salary. And that's probably what he's probably had that conversation. Said, look, this is my final year. Lacazette's always going to give heart. So you don't have to worry about him not, playing for the badge, etc., because he always will play for the badge. But he's probably said, you know what, to be fair, this is my last year. He wants to go on a free transfer. He knows it's a good opportunity for him to do that. Why is he going to sign the contract, therefore? Arsenal probably want a younger player up front as well. I think that's one thing that we did miss in getting this season. So I think that's something we'll be looking, maybe not January, maybe January, depending on how things go beforehand. But definitely at the end of the season, that's something we're going to be looking into.
Yeah, you could say on the flip of that, like Lacazette, performing a lot better than he usually does. Maybe he's putting himself in the shopping window. So it could be that,
No, facts. I just want to look at one player, because one player's really impressed me at the moment. I'm going to share my screen. So you just let me know when you can see that. Let me for a second. Wait a second. Can you see that?
There you go.
Yeah, Mr. Aaron Ramsdale.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. The new sweeper, I call him. I was just looking at his stats from the Aston Villa match when it was saying in terms of positive passes, he had 12. And 12 of those passes, so all of them, led to unpressurized possession for Arsenal. And 8 of them were line-breaking passes, breaking the opposition's formation. Question for you. Does this put an end to the Martinez talk? Have we found ourselves a better goalkeeper or a on-par goalkeeper?
I think it does put an end to the talk. I've been really, really impressed by this guy. I was more just on the fence about it. I like everyone questioned the price tag, but he's been honestly like absolutely fantastic. Like he's been the one breath of fresh air for everyone. I think. There's so many points we could talk about. We could talk about the passion he has. It is insane. Like, and it rubs off on everyone. It's the agility and like you say, the passing has been insane. Like being able to like pinpoint, and on the floor. It's been joy to watch. It really has. It's something that like you touched on earlier on. Leonard doesn't really have. He can't really play from the back, and he can't do that. I can see that playing distance. I'm gonna, it's been really, really good. I have to give the board, Edu, and everyone credit for going for him because really, really good. I think it definitely puts an end to it, and for him to just come in and keep his place like that over Leno. Yeah, okay, Leno made a few mistakes, like we said, but he is still a solid keeper. He's still world class. But and the fact Ramsdale's so young, credit to the Edu and everyone for that one. I think he's brilliant.
Is he a future England first team player?
100%.
Do you think he can get ahead of Pickford?
Look at Pickford. I've never been that, thinking he's that great, but this is, if he's this good so early, and if he keeps his position as number one at Arsenal, I think so. Why not? I mean, it's brilliant. To be fair, we've got so many good keepers, British keepers, but I don't know why he can't be in the mix as well. 100%.
Yeah, no, definitely. I fully agree, man. Mentioned it on many occasions. I was one that didn't really see what Arsenal were doing in terms of trying to sign him, if I'm honest with you. But he's proven us all wrong. Love his passion. Everything you mentioned, basically, he's a very good young player. I love the fact that he's very vocal as well. There's things that he does when in matches, in terms of kind of building up his defense, making sure that, or even telling them off as well. Things that
He's
I
not
can't.
afraid, is he?
Yeah, he's not afraid, and that's things that unfortunately Leno doesn't really. I haven't seen Leno do, if I'm honest with
Yeah.
you. So I do love that. Another player I've been impressed by is he's only played a few matches, but is Nuno Tavares. I thought he against
He
Aston
started off
Villa.
shaky, didn't he, man? He was quite shaky at first, but he's
Yeah,
really come on.
yeah. He's slightly erratic still,
Mm.
but he's a strong left back, and I love the way he kind of progresses forwards. He's not scared to get the shot off or try and progress into the box,
Yeah.
or he's a positive footballer, which is really good. Do you think is he good competition for Tierney, or is he for you? He's Tierney just walks straight back into the team.
No, I think he's. I wouldn't say they're obviously on level, but it's kind of what you just said. He brings certain things to the game that maybe Tierney doesn't, and depending on the match, I would sometimes perhaps start him over Tierney. Honestly,
Yeah,
I thought, yeah, I think he was brilliant. I think he's really, really progressing very quickly, and I have to give again credit to Arteta, because that's got to come from the training ground. It's got to give, and I think because they're all young as well. They're all fighting. They all want to be that number one. They want to be in the starting
they
lineup.
want to
So
prove themselves, don't they? They all
yeah,
want to
they
prove
have that
themselves.
opportunity in this
Yeah,
team, which you could say in a team with massive players, you're never going to get that opportunity, like
yeah,
established ones. So the fact that they might have that opportunity, and at the moment, I think it's great. It's great to have that competition. You have to
yeah,
have that,
definitely.
otherwise you just don't have the passion to want to turn up every game, and we have to turn up every game.
Yeah, no, 100%. Especially after the start that we had.
Yeah.
Now we have to consistently keep on winning it and playing good football. So if obviously we've got a hard run of games actually coming
Mm.
up, but if Tierney was due to come back for that Liverpool match, I know it's probably too early. Is hypothetically, um, would would you would you bring him straight back in, or would you give Tavares that opportunity to play left back against Liverpool away from
That's a
home? I
tough
might add.
one. Thanks for giving me that one.
I
Um,
want to see how much faith you got in him, really.
yeah, man. Do you know what? I probably would. I really would, because
Yeah,
I'm not obviously the manager, but as the manager, like, if you're gonna give him a string of games and you're gonna go say to him, you know what, you've been great. I'm gonna keep you in. I can't remember his name, but I can't say his name. So the Liverpool left back. I forgot. I can't say it. The one that was covering for Robertson.
oh,
Tish
yeah, I can't.
Tisham, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But he
yeah,
was given a bit extra. He was given a bit more time even when Robertson was there, and it just breeds confidence. And I think
yeah, definitely.
I don't see why not. I mean, if I'm honest, Tierney hasn't been 100% anyway. Has he
Yeah,
really?
that's real facts. To be fair, um, I think it's been a poor start to the season for him. If I'm honest with you, knowing his high standards, and what he can achieve, it has been quite poor. And like you said, it's really good that we've got that competition for him.
Yeah.
Because I think he could have gone a bit stale if he didn't have that competition. Now he knows when he comes back from injury, he has to stay fit, and also he's got someone that could stop him from getting straight back into the first team. So that's really good, to be fair. And I respect what Arteta and Edu have done there, because to be fair, we bought him for £8 million.
Yeah.
It's
That's mad, isn't
bargain.
it?
So far, he's shown to be a bargain. I think the shooting's a bit erratic. He needs to maybe calm down with
Yeah,
that.
that
It's a
was a
bit
bit.
crazy. I think he's gone to the same school as Party for the
Oh
shooting.
Jesus! Honestly, man, they need to watch a bit of Vieira in the midfield.
Yeah. Do you
Really.
know what? It's good you've just mentioned Vieira, actually, because I've got a question I like to do on this pod. I like to just kind of, there's often like group chat conversations which take place, and this one came up in the group chat, sorry, this week. I just wanted to know your thoughts on it, because you are a young man from my time as well. So I'm
Mm.
gonna share the screen with you and let me know your thoughts. Right, let me know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a picture of obviously the Invincibles.
Hmm.
In terms of, you mentioned Vieira, obviously. I just wanted to know, in terms of the top four today. So we're talking about Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. We'll talk about those top three because right now top four is there for the opening. To be quite honest, after Man
Yeah.
United, the way they played. But how would the Invincibles? How would they fare against the likes of Liverpool, and Manchester City and Chelsea today? What's your thoughts? And obviously, you've seen them both play.
Mm.
How do you think they would fare, knowing that team had the likes of Vieira, Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp,
Yeah.
Ashley Cole, Perez? But the teams of today, that you got the likes of Salah. For Chelsea, you've got Lukaku. You've got an array of players, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
How would this Invincibles team, honestly, how do you think they would fare?
I honestly, and it's not being biased because we're both Gooners, it's really
Mm,
not. There's one big reason why they will always be better than them, than the others from today. Mentality.
yeah,
The Invincibles, the team that Arsene Wenger built back then, there was that winning mentality where you know losing was not an option. It literally wasn't. It was built into the players, and the backup players as well. Like if they couldn't play, you'd have another player like Reyes or something like that. There would always be it was the mentality, and I just don't think in the positions that sometimes Arsenal got in that in the Invincible season. I don't think the teams of now would have been able to dig themselves out of. If that makes sense. I
yeah,
just think we had that grit, we had that fire in the belly, and I just think I know you just have to look at the players as well. Don't get me wrong, Salah is a fantastic player. He's going to go down as one of the best Premier League players, I would say, in a long time or all time. But
mm,
you just have to look, man. You have to look at Henry, literally
jeez,
the greatest player of the Premier League. Simple. And
yeah.
Vieira, there will never be another Vieira, and there never has been.
And
And
do you know
we
what?
could never replace him. We
Yeah,
could
yeah,
never.
facts.
He was ridiculous. It wasn't just his strength. It was he could score. Like he was like Diaby. What I was hoping would be the next Vieira. He had that sort of
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
gangly, like
yeah.
he
And it
was
was
just
only
so
because
awkward.
Diaby kind of looked like him that everyone was hoping he was a new Vieira, to be fair.
Oh,
Because
bless
Diaby
him,
was a
man.
player in
He
his
was
own right.
brilliant.
He wasn't on that level, obviously, but he would have been a player in his own right if it wasn't for the injury.
Yeah,
But yeah, you talk about the mentality of those players. They were winners, man. They were
yeah,
winners. Like people like Vieira, they were going on that pitch for war. I always remember that image of, Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira having
oh mate.
a rough down on the pitch. And if you think, Roy Keane, he's no mug, to be quite honest. You know what I'm
No,
saying? When it comes to strong mentalities, he's probably one of the strongest in terms of mentality. But Vieira was always up for that battle.
yeah,
Henri knew he had that vavavoom. He knew he was just that bit better, and I
yeah.
loved it.
And do you know
And
what,
also, we
man? Like
go on.
Perez, like people also forget that how
Oh,
many of the midfielders. Um, yeah, okay, Henry scored 5 million goals, but Perez didn't hit a few as well, and
oh,
he was
quality.
there, mate. You think the goal had gone, the chance had gone, it hit the post, it had gone out slightly. Someone no, he's in there picking it off right in the
Yeah,
corner,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it was
yeah,
just every single position was filled perfectly, and I
yeah,
just don't
yeah.
like. And I want to go back to like when Fabregas came into the team.
Mm,
He's always talked about the mentality. He had to almost like prove himself in training. He had to, almost like get out of this hole. Do you know what I mean? And you want
yeah,
to be
yeah,
in this
yeah,
team. You want to be next to Vieira. You want to be next to Gilberto.
yeah.
You got to prove yourself. And if you didn't, you'd never get anywhere. And again, it's just that mentality. And even like Gilberto, like
Oh,
Gilberto for me is the original like Kante. Like that player that doesn't look like he's done anything, but he really has.
he's done a
He
lot.
makes
Yeah,
everything tick.
yeah,
It was just
yeah.
they just had
No, facts.
everything, and I haven't seen a team like it since. Really
Yeah,
haven't. I mean,
no,
everyone was banging on about Liverpool, a few seasons ago, maybe doing Invincibles. Nah,
nah, nah, nah, nah, nah.
no,
And I'm so glad when they didn't do it. To be fair, um,
I know. I was. I think we were all on the edge a little bit when they were getting close. I was like, nah, this is all we've got right now. You don't
yeah,
understand. You've been an Arsenal fan as long as me and you. Like
Yeah, no.
this is all we've got. You know.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, facts. I fully agree with the Invincibles. And I think it's important to kind of remember how great they were. Because that was a hell of a team. Hell of a team. Even the likes of Ashley Cole as well, to be fair. He was a quality
Oh,
left back. Say what you say about him, but the guy was quality, you
well,
know.
but it frustrates me with the Ashley Cole thing because okay, he did leave, but I think he was given the right promises. I think he would have stayed, but
Mm,
it is what it is, isn't it? But
yeah. We move. But
but yeah, that team, like even a draw, they would fight for every moment. Just losing was not a thing, and you wouldn't get that nowadays. They just take
yeah,
the loss, but it was just every like I said, every single position was covered. It's
yeah.
just well, yeah, it's amazing.
No, facts. Um, in terms of we're gonna head back to the team we have now. We're gonna come down from the skies and come back to reality. So obviously we've got Leicester coming up.
Mm.
Confident.
Well, more confident than I would have been a while ago. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Like Leicester are kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're terrible. You just have to go at Leicester. You can't sit back because they're quite fast paced.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm quite confident, especially on the string of the games we played.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's the thing. That is the main thing for me. Is just having that confidence that we can go into a game and actually do something, and we haven't had that in a while. So I have to give
yeah,
again Arteta credit for that, and it's just consistency. It really is. If we can continue to play how we did against Aston Villa, and I will say one thing quickly is that was what was worried me about the other games. Like we couldn't finish a game off. Like we were doing really well, but um, I think okay, that goal they scored, Ramsey goal was great. There was nothing
yeah,
anyone could
yeah,
do about that goal.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
just
I agree.
but we finished that game off. We were 3-0 up. It's like that's how we have to a mentality we have to have, and now I feel a bit more confident going into games. But it's going to be a tight game though, still tight. But I wouldn't if we lost. I wouldn't walk away and for God's sake, everything's gone wrong. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
as long because I feel like I know that we'll play a good game still.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I think that's one of the key things from the last couple of matches, especially in the Villa match. We've given a good performance, and I haven't seen that all season apart from the North London derby, as mentioned. So it's good to kind of be confident that we can actually start playing football again. I want to see the likes of Lacazette on that pitch. I want to see Saka on the right.
Yeah,
I want to obviously Emil Smith Rowe. I want him to continue his performances that he's been given in the last few
he's been
matches because he's
brilliant.
been quality.
Yeah,
So I think Arteta's learning on the job, but he's learning what works for him better and he's learning what doesn't work. And unfortunately, when you're learning, you kind of need to learn the hard way as we do in life.
yeah,
And we found, you know, sometimes we do learn, we've learned the hard way on a lot of occasions. So in terms of confident for that match, yeah, I think we can get a victory. It'll be difficult, it's away from home. So it's not going to be easy. Like you said, Leicester are no mugs. They're on a good run themselves, obviously with the Brentford match, the Man United match
mm,
as well. Yeah. Um, but I think we've got enough in our team to give out a good performance. I'm happy with the fact that our defense seem a lot more solid. We understand what we're doing. We've got a sweeper in our goalkeeper who's kind of
yeah.
distributing the ball well. So we're starting well from the back. And we're looking like we can score goals as well, which is always good. So yeah, I think we can. I think it'll be a tight match. It'll be a difficult match, but I'm going to go for a 2-1.
Ooh,
What are you
2-1.
saying, Gavs?
Yeah. Um, yeah, do you know what? I agree with you on that one. I can see Leicester scoring, not gonna lie. They always
Yeah,
seem to against us, but I think we can do it, man. I don't know whether we'll score first. I'd hope that we hit the front foot again,
mm,
but that's a good point actually. I was going to say as well, like that's where we were failing quite a lot before. It was one or the other. We wouldn't hit. We'd wait until we go 1-0 down, then suddenly we start playing and try and grab it back. But
yeah,
we have been starting games a lot better. And just what
Yeah,
you said
100%.
about the defence as well, being a bit more solid. Like I have been quite on the fence, obviously, when it comes to Ben White, but last two games I've been impressed. I do like the way he comes forward.
Yeah.
It might be a bit risky against some of the better teams,
Mm.
but I like what he's trying to do though, and
Yeah.
he has been more solid. And it's never a vendetta against a player. I'm not sure if he's worth the 50 million we paid for, but then again we can say about Ramsdale, etc. But he's proven it. So I think if Saliba comes back, hopefully, fingers crossed, there's some three options there we've got, which we
Some
didn't have
great,
before. So
yeah,
I'm quite
yeah,
happy with that. You know, Saliba's been fantastic in the league, so
yeah.
hopefully it's a bit better than Mari, isn't it? And but you know what? Even Holding played quite well yesterday.
Yeah, he did. He did do well. He did do well. I mean, I'll be honest though. It seems a few of those players on the pitch, Holding, maybe Kolasinac. I just no disrespect to them, but because I've seen so many of the new guys, I've been happy to kind of see the new mold and what they can do and seeing them
Yeah.
progress our team. And it was a bit like we're moving backwards when I saw those players, but fair play to them. They done well yesterday, you know. So long may that continue. And we've just seen how much they have to kind of step their game up to kind of get these opportunities. Saliba as well, obviously he's doing well on loan. He's marked out Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe in the PSG match. So long may that continue. I'm hoping that's a player that comes back and gets an opportunity to fight, because for me personally, you cannot be marking out Mbappe and those guys and not you can't give he's not ready for the Premiership now.
No, not anymore.
You can't give
Not
that.
anymore.
Yeah.
No, but
so
it's good, man, because like before, if I'm Gabriel's out or Ben White's out, like we've got a whack in Holding or Murray or Chambers, and it's like, oh, for God's sake, do you know what I mean? But now we can literally alternate between the three of them. There'd be times where you could probably play all three in the same starting lineup. There would be chances of that kind of game, but that's a better feeling to feel like we have good options for once.
Right.
And again, like, I've been a bit on the fence of Ben White, but if Saliba comes back, then that's going to do even more good for him, because he's going to fight even stronger and he's going to build his game. And so I have to give him credit. He's been better. So yeah, it's looking good, and it feels good to say that for once.
Yeah, no, definitely. It feels good to go into the weekend optimistic of a victory, and optimistic of a good performance. I think that's key. Listen, we're going to end it soon. It's been great having you just talking about the Arsenal. And it's been great talking positively about the Arsenal as well. I'm gonna test you now. I want to give you a little test on your Arsenal knowledge. I didn't tell you about this. So I just wanted to. All right, so I want to know who is the fastest manager to reach 50 wins in all competitions for Arsenal. And I'll give you some options. So if you can remember them, it's George Graham. Yeah. There's Arsene Wenger. There's Arteta and Herbert Chapman.
50 wins.
There's a lot of pressure here, Gavs, man. If you don't get this, we can't talk again.
Oh, man. I want to say, I'm saying in my head George Graham, but I think I'm wrong.
If you give me your those four. If you need me to read any of them out again, I will. But in order,
I'm gonna go with George Graham. I know I'm probably wrong.
Right, so you put George Graham first. Who's second?
I'd say Arsene Wenger.
You got Wenger second.
Yeah.
Right, and then who's third?
I think this is a trick question, so I'm going to go with Arteta.
Okay. And then obviously Herbert Chapman is fourth. Yeah. All right. I'm going to show you now.
Completely wrong.
Listen, mate. If you get this wrong, I've told you what happens. No, joking. Right, I'm going to share the screen. Just let me know when you can see it, and that's going to have the results up. Can you see it? Can you see it?
Oh
Yeah.
man,
So
close.
number one, we've got George Graham
Yeah.
to reach 50 games first in all competitions. Number two, we've got a Mr. Mikel Arteta. Now that must be the cup run. I'm not sure how that happened, but that must be
I
the
said
cup
to you
run.
though, didn't I, man? I said I swear there's a trick question in there.
Number three is Arsene Wenger, and number four is Herbert Chapman. So yeah,
well, I'm happy with that, man.
Yeah, no. To be fair, you done quite well. To be fair, you only got. I mean, you got George Graham right. You got Mikel Arteta and Arsene Wenger mixed up, which to be fair, anyone would have got that wrong. I would have put Arsene Wenger first if I was honest with you. If I didn't know the answers to the question, but you done well.
I felt it was George Graham straight away. That was my instinct for the actual number one, but I felt like there was a trick question in there, but I didn't realize Arteta would be bloody second. Again,
see, that's what I'm saying. You got to trust this process, bro.
Yeah. I'll give that. Again, like we've said, man, like it's not about trying to we hate Arteta or this or that. It's just purely for people like me and you who've been supporting for decades. We've been there, we've seen it all, and we've seen how frustrating the decline can be, and it's just a case of we just want what's best for the club. But if he turns out to be what is best for the club and the process starts working, why on earth would we not want that to work? Do you know what I mean? And be happy about it. So, fair play to him so far. I'm happy that he's changing everyone's minds. It's good.
Definitely. Onwards and upwards. Listen, it's been great having you on the show today to chop it up. I'm definitely going to do this again soon.
Sure, man.
Until next time, Gavs. Take care, bro. And thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate it.
Anytime, man. Cool, man.
Yeah, come on the Arsenal. Onwards and upwards.